Alrighty, welcome back everybody to the formulajonah YouTube channel. It's been a while since we've been live streaming, and we've had a lot of content come out when it comes to the 24 hours of Le Mans and the 6 hours of the Glen. It's been a busy month, for sure. It really has. And now we're in for another 24-hour endurance race. This is the 24 hours of Spa, and in this video I'm going to be talking about everything that we need to know heading into this race. And yeah, there's going to be so much to discuss. You know, this is a fantastic edition of this event as well, the Centenary edition, as it says in the title, of course. But yeah, we'll get into that part a little bit later on. Thank you to everybody who's joined so far. We've already got a ton of people in the chat so far, which is great to see. My live stream co-host David is not able to make it today, so it's just me. Like old time's sake, I was doing a first live stream, I think, just with me. And yeah, it's going to be strange to not have him here, of course, but he will be returning for the following stream, which we will probably be covering the 6 hours of Sao Paulo, which is the WEC's next edition of their season, which is going to be absolutely incredible. We'll cover that later on, though. But yeah, welcome everybody to the live stream so far. It took me a little bit to get everything going because got to get all the links out, you know, to social media and get you all in here as well. So yeah, just wanted to start that off. But anyway, let's get into the 24 hours of Spa. So first off, what is the 24 hours of Spa? For those that are unaware of this event, this is an endurance race that takes place around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium. The Spa circuit is legendary. It's iconic. It's one of the best circuits and most famous circuits in the world. And yeah, to have cars race for 24 hours straight around that iconic circuit is absolutely spectacular. You know, we have circuits like the Nürburgring. You know, we have circuits like Le Mans that host 24-hour endurance races, and they are absolutely iconic. They're absolutely special, but this one's also special. And I think one of the reasons why is because of the track itself. You know, Spa is a legendary race course. You have the Eau Rouge, the Radillon section that goes up the hill with the huge elevation change. Then you also have iconic corners like Bonchemont. You know, it's that long left-hander on the way to the final chicane. So, yeah, a lot of history with this track and a lot of racing to come. And let's get into the racing now, you know, because this is a factor that is quite interesting to me, to be honest. When we have endurance races like this, we are used to seeing multi-class racing. In other words, we are used to seeing prototypes, GT cars, other GT cars, and sometimes in the 24 hours of Nürburgring cases, production cars. So, what that means is that we get racing of all different classes, all different types of cars, but the Spa 24-hour endurance race is very different. You know, it's very, let's just say, different, I guess, from the other endurance races. That's the best word I can really describe it by. And the reason why is because there's only one kind of car racing in this event, and that's the GT3 car. So, and I explained this in my 24 hours of Spa explained video. If you need to know more information about this event and what it is and basically all the details behind it, I highly recommend checking out that video. But essentially, what this does is that we get cars competing on a circuit that can all battle for overall victory. That's something we don't really get to see that often in other endurance races, other 24-hour endurance races like Le Mans, like Nürburgring, like Daytona, with the multi-class element in place. So that's kind of interesting to do this 24 hours of Spa preview because it's so different compared to those other endurance races. And that also makes the racing, I feel, very exciting because we have no idea who's going to win this race. It could be the driver or the team that starts at the very back. It could be the team that starts in the middle. Who knows? That's what's so interesting about the 24 hours of Spa. But yeah, absolutely incredible, this race. And I can't wait to get going with content on this. This is the first time I've kind of really produced content when it comes to these big endurance races. I've mainly focused on the WEC and IMSA, as you all know. But traditionally, I have done that, and I want to branch into more content. This is the way that we're going to be doing that, is branching into these big endurance races like Nürburgring, like the Bathurst 12-hour, like this race as well. So it's great to see that, of course. But for the 2024 race, one of the big talking points heading into this event is that this is the event that celebrates 100 years of the 24 hours of Spa. Of course, the first event was all the way back in 1924, which makes this one of the oldest endurance races that still exists today. Of course, the 24 Hours of Le Mans is 1 year older, as it was established in 1923. But yeah, this event is arguably as like one of the oldest. It's very similar to the age of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and we're going to be celebrating the Centenary edition of this event here in 2024. So that's great as well. You know, you have a lot of cars returning from the past that are showing up to express the value of the 24 Hours of Spa, which is great to see. You know, as I put in the thumbnail, there's a few cars that are there that we don't get to see that often at these 24-hour endurance races. A few BMW entries, of course. Speaking of BMW, this is the manufacturer that has the most wins at this event. BMW has 25 overall victories. Now, this is a huge amount of achievements for BMW. You know, 25 overall victories in an event that is so prestigious as this 24 Hours of Spa with so many competitors. It's just going to be absolutely incredible, you know, to see them potentially go even more. You know, right now, one of the big talking points when it comes to the 24 Hours of Le Mans is that Porsche could grab 20 victories with their 963 at some point. But BMW has 25, which is just remarkable to think about that. And as for the driver, that's Eric Van der Poel, who's got the lead when it comes to the most wins. I believe he's got 5 overall victories here at the 24 Hours of Spa. He hasn't raced here for quite some time, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he's actually retired now. But yeah, his last win here was in 2008. So a few years ago for sure. But yeah, there's a lot of records that have been achieved here at the 24 Hours of Spa. As I mentioned, Eric Van der Poel took the lead with the drivers' most wins, and then BMW, of course, has the most manufacturer wins. I believe Porsche is in second when it comes to that list. I think they have 8 wins, which is great to see, of course. But yeah, in general, a lot to discuss when it comes to this event. Now, I mentioned that we have GT3 cars only here at this event, which means that we don't get that same multi-class element, but there are quite a few of them out on track. There's 66 here in 2024, I believe, and those are spread across 9 different car manufacturers. So you have the likes of Porsche, Audi, BMW, Ferrari, Lamborghini, McLaren, Mercedes, and I believe Ford and Aston Martin. I believe I covered all 9 there. So yeah, quite a few brands, and I think the biggest addition of this event, and the biggest addition to this event in 2024 is the arrival of Ford, or the return of Ford. Yeah, of course, they're bringing their Mustang GT3, which is a huge shock, to be honest. It's great to see that. As an American myself, I want to support Ford. But yeah, that Mustang is absolutely incredible. Of course, it made its debut at the 24 Hours of Daytona earlier this year, and has been performing not so bad in the WEC and IMSA. Of course, it achieved a podium last time out at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which is a big achievement for Ford as a brand itself. And not forgetting the fact that the second car, the 44 entry, it's actually the Le Mans exclusive entry, finished in 4th as well. So let's see what Ford can do. Of course, the American manufacturer is only bringing 1 entry to this event. I believe that's the number 64 car run by the same team, Proton Competition. Now, Proton, of course, as we know, is a successful team across motorsport. They compete in the WEC, they compete in IMSA, and they compete in other events as well. Of course, they're running a Porsche 963 in both championships, but they're also running the Ford program in both championships as well. They're running 2 entries in the WEC and 1 in the GTD class of IMSA. So it's great to see that Ford are branching into more big endurance races and going for the 24 Hours of Spa. Now, I don't know how well this Ford Mustang will do. I hope that it does pretty well. However, this is the first time that this Ford has raced at this 24-hour endurance race. It's never raced here in the night before. And that's a factor as well that is going to be very big at this endurance race, where other brands such as Audi, Mercedes, Porsche, Ferrari have raced at this event in the night and for the 24-hour endurance race, the full length, I mean. So we'll see. Ford doesn't have a ton of experience. However, the Mustang has raced at this track before. Of course, it competed at the 6 Hours of Spa earlier this year in the WEC. 2 of them actually competed in that event, both run by Proton Competition. So there's a little experience from that race, which should help a little bit. But again, this is a very different endurance race compared to the WEC. You know, that event was scheduled to be 6 hours, ended up being around 8 hours due to the drama that happened there. But my point is that that event is much smaller compared to this event, which lasts a total of 24 hours long, of course. So yeah, absolutely interesting to see how Ford will do. It's great to see that Aston Martin are returning to the main class as well. I believe that they haven't been here since, I want to say 2022, off the top of my head, in the top class, I mean. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Aston Martin do as they come into this event. I'm reading the comments now. We got one says, "Is there a Ford GT in the grid?" If I'm not mistaken, no, I don't believe so. I believe that's the Mustang that's in the grid this year. So the Ford Mustang GT3 will be in the grid. That's the only Ford on the grid for the 24 hours of Spa this year. So yeah, it's gonna be great to see Ford, of course. If you have any questions as well, viewers, let me know down in the comments section, of course. Feel free to let me know if you have anything to say, of course. Love the support recently for the channel. It's been absolutely incredible, especially during the Le Mans weekend. We reached viewers, I think it was like over 30 or 40,000 per day, which was great. So many people came in. I think that the videos were reaching over 30,000. Each video was for Le Mans, which is something that I was kind of blown by, you know, the fact that how many people came in, which was absolutely incredible. Now we're settling down a little bit, and believe me, it takes forever to get these videos out. I've been working night and day on getting Le Mans content out. Finally got the race review out, and that completes all the content when it comes to Le Mans. But there are so many more races this month, so many more races next month, and so much like content to produce. You know, we just had a huge announcement come out in the world of IMSA. I know this has nothing to do with the Spa 24 hour, but it's relevant to the endurance racing world in general. But yeah, Acura making a massive switch with Wayne Taylor Racing leaving the Acura partnership after 2024, and Meyershank Racing returning in conjunction with HRC, Honda Racing Corporation US, that is, to run 2 entries in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship for 2025. Speaking of which, after this live stream comes out, there will be a full video breaking down the details of the WTR Andretti switch and the Meyershank Racing switch, which is something I highly recommend checking out if you're into endurance racing and into IMSA especially. So yeah, a lot to talk about for sure. I'm just reading the comments here. We got a lot of people in the comments so far, which is great to see. Thank you again for the support. And yeah, if you have any questions when it comes to Spa, when it comes to the endurance racing, when it comes to this channel, just let me know down in the comments. Really anything. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Of course, I'll try and interact with you all as much as possible. Whenever I'm on a live stream myself, just watching as a viewer, I always like when the announcer says something about me. You know, it's nice to hear, or if they mention my comment in some way. So I want to try and do the same for you all. So yeah, so I'm just trying to read a few of these comments, just making sure that we're all good. Yep, we are. Okay. So I guess we should move on towards more of this 24 hours of Spa race. It's going to be absolutely incredible to see all these cars out on track. Like I said, GT3 cars are going to be in this event. And something else I wanted to mention as well is that we will have 5 different categories. So 5 different categories for this event. But considering they are all GT3 cars participating, they are more defined on the driver placements, you know, the driver ratings. So we have the category of Pro, Pro-Am, Gold, Silver, and Bronze. So those are the 5 categories for 2024. I believe the Pro category is the main class to watch out for, and the cars that are going to be looking to be very competitive. Of course, this is the lineup, I believe, of pro drivers, professional drivers, that is. So, yeah, going to be interesting. We have a comment coming in. Is it confirmed that Jota will be running 2 Cadillacs next year in the WEC? Not confirmed just yet, but heavily, heavily rumored. As of recording this, it looks to be that Cadillac and WTR will be partnering in IMSA, and Action Express Racing will continue to run in IMSA, and the big rumor is that Hertz Team Jota will switch from Porsche to Cadillac. I expect it to possibly happen. I think one of the reasons why is not just because this is a great opportunity for Hertz Team Jota to branch into the factory championship and not just the Hypercar Cup. That's the customer championship, which includes the Jota customer entries, the Proton entries, and I believe the 83 customer Ferrari. But this also allows for, what was I going to say? Jota has the opportunity, like I said, to bring in a factory effort, to jump into the WEC. But that's what I was going to say. Because the WEC is downside, or they have more entries, I guess. Since there's not enough room with Aston Martin coming in, with more manufacturers set to bring 2 entries, such as Cadillac, such as Lamborghini, such as Isotta Fraschini. It's interesting because this means that we don't have a lot of space for more brands. We don't have a lot more space for other entries. So to have this many Porsches with Proton competition looking to get a second one, I could potentially see some of the teams decide to pull some of the Porsche entries to allow some other cars to come in and maybe race those customer cars over in IMSA. The rumor is right now is that Hertz Team Jota are going to get rid of both of their Porsche 963s. Proton competition will get one of them, and then JDC Miller Motorsports will get the second one. That's the rumor right now. And JDC Miller Motorsports, of course, will run that second car in IMSA. And the rumor is as well that Proton competition is going to be picking one of the series to race in next year, either IMSA or the WEC. And I have a feeling that it might be IMSA, just because there's not going to be enough room for more entries in the WEC. Of course, as a Porsche fan, I'd like to see more entries, but then again, this kind of limits the amount of entries for the other manufacturers. Think of Lamborghini, think of Isotta Fraschini. They need more cars on the grid. With Porsche having 5, it's not really fair to have another brand with just 1 car or maybe even 2. So I think that Porsche, I think what there should be is like maybe the 2 Penske entries, and I think Proton competition should keep their car in the WEC and also run the other entry in IMSA as well, and maybe a second car in IMSA. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be really interesting, of course. I think the catalyst for everything is going to be Cadillac, and to see what they do when it comes to the WEC and IMSA. If they choose WTR to run in IMSA as well as Action Express, that looks to be a done deal. And then for the WEC, if Hertz Team Jota goes, then that kind of trickles things down to the other deciding factors. Is it mandatory that every team should have 2 entries from next year? Yes, it is. It's officially confirmed that all manufacturers should at least have 2 entries per manufacturer. So that means Lamborghini, Isotta Fraschini, and Cadillac will all have to double up. Aston Martin will have 2 entries confirmed for next year in the WEC and an additional entry over in IMSA. And it's possible that Aston Martin might bring over a second car in IMSA for events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, potentially. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But back to the 24 Hours of Spa, as that's the topic of this video, of course. As I mentioned before, there are 5 classes. That's Pro, Pro-Am, Bronze, Silver, and Gold. All, of course, defined by the driver ratings. And then, of course, there's GT3 cars all out on track, 66 of them, I believe, for 2024, and that's spread across 9 different manufacturers. So a lot to look forward to, and I think another factor that I want to mention is that the weather could really affect this race. We've had the rain really, I would say, affect the other 24-hour endurance races this year. Look back to the 24 Hours of Nürburgring. We had the race basically red flagged for the majority of the time. I believe only 8 hours were completed, which was so unfortunate, and this was a safety hazard to go racing again, and it just wasn't possible. It was the right decision, of course. And the fog rolled in, and it just didn't happen. Then we looked at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. We had racing that was paused because the safety car came out because of the rain. There was too much rain out on track, and I believe we had the longest safety car period under rain, or because of rain, ever in the race's history. Comment down below if I'm incorrect on that. But yeah, I believe it was 4 hours or 4.5 hours of safety car conditions because of the rain, and it's a little unfortunate. I mean, of course, we can't control the weather. There's nothing we can do. But because those two races have been affected by weather, it's possible that the 24, and then we look also to the 6 hours of the Glen. I just want to quickly mention that, also affected by rain. It went under red flag. So 3 big endurance races pretty much this month, or June this month, that are all affected by the rain. And the 24 hours of Spas also this month. Is the curse going to continue? Is the race going to be affected by rain? There's rumors that it will be raining during the event. It's almost a given, considering that the 24 hours of Spa is an event that, or the Spa-Francorchamps circuit and the Ardennes forest around it is used to getting quite a lot of rain. Of course, this affected the 2021 Formula One Belgian Grand Prix, which I believe the race was the shortest distance for any Formula One race in history so far. So honestly, viewers, I expect that the race could go under red flag or some sort of condition that stops the race, and there's nothing we can really do. We can't really control this. It's just we gotta see how it is, see if it's bad rain or if the race will continue in these conditions. We'll see. But my point that I'm trying to make here is that I believe that the rain could affect the result of this race, and it really comes down to strategy. You know, if a car is in the right place at the right time when they red flag it, then or if they put a safety car or something like that, that could massively benefit that entry. So we'll definitely see how it goes, but I would just keep an eye on the skies, you know, see if the rain's going to affect things. I believe this event is going to start at 4:30 p.m. local time, so we'll start pretty much the same time that the 24 hours of Le Mans started. We'll get a little bit of daytime running, then we'll go into the night and finish it out with the majority of daytime running on Sunday, June 30th, I believe. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting for sure, to basically see how this race is going to be affected by the weather, if it will be, and the rumor is right now that it will be. So we'll definitely see. We'll definitely see how that works out. But yeah, the rain's definitely going to affect things. Strategy's definitely going to be crucial to get right, and I think that having a strong team behind all these drivers is going to be absolutely critical in a 24-hour endurance race like this one. You know, if something breaks, you need a team that can be there and fix it within a not so much of a time. You know, if there's an entry that is broken or like has a tire that won't come off or something like that, like I mentioned, you need a team that can fix that tire quickly and get the car back out on track as fast as possible and get it back into the race. Otherwise, you know, this entry or this car could be stuck in the garage for so long, and that's the value of teamwork here. You know, the 24 hours of Spa, as well as all the other endurance races, needs a strong team behind it. And of course, this is an event not like a single-seater racing series like Formula One or IndyCar, for example, which has just one driver in the car. The 24 hours of Spa could see up to 4 racers per car, which is a lot. You know, this is a lot considering other single-seater racing series. So yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure to see how this goes about. You know, if the 24 hours of Spa handles the rain well, you know, if the organizers handle that well, we could see strategy come into play. And if the team is good, you know, if this is a strong team, which the majority, I'd say every single team is strong in the 24 hours of Spa entry list, we're gonna get a good race. I think that's my prediction for this. We also have some very talented driver lineups on the grid, a lot of talented racers in this event as well. You have the likes of Lawrence Vantor, Kevin Estra, Raffaele Marciello, and so on. Speaking of Marciello, that 46 BMW is the car that I'm betting on winning this race, and that's because of that extremely strong driver lineup. That lineup has 7-time MotoGP champion Valentino Rossi himself in that car. Also in the car is 24 hours of Spa race winner Raffaele Marciello. Those 2 drivers alone. And then we also have Maxime Martin, who's also a very successful racer in endurance racing in general. So those are 3 very talented racers in one car. Honestly, I think that car is going to be the one that a lot of people are going to be looking at to potentially win this race. I'm just going to get some water real quickly, and then we're going to continue on. We have a comment coming in. Who are you Who are you cheering for? Ooh, a lot of entries on the grid. A lot of cars that could potentially win. And the car that I'm cheering for as a fan is the Ford Mustang. As someone who has been to see it, has been to see the car, I've seen 3 of them so far. And I went to the IMSA race in Laguna Seca and saw so many GT3 cars. They were all incredible. But that Mustang was flying down. You could hear it so far away. And that's the beauty of an American V8 engine. So, yeah, honestly, I got to support the Mustang. There's only one car. There's only one Ford Mustang on the grid, and I want to see it do well. But also, as someone who really likes BMW as well, I want to see them do well. I mentioned that the 46 BMW's got an extremely strong lineup of Rossi, Martin, and Raffaele Marciello, but I think that car's got a strong chance, and I want to see them do well. Of course, BMW, if they win this event in 2024, it will be their 26th overall victory here, and their 2nd in a row. Of course, they won in 2023 last year, I believe, with the Rove Racing number 998 entry, I want to say. Can't remember the exact number, but it was Nick Uloli, Philip Ain, and I believe Marco Wittmann that was aboard that entry, and that car super strong, won the race in 2023, and I think you can't count out BMW. They got a very, very strong package as always. Porsche, of course, are bringing a lot of cars. I believe there's like 11 or 12 GT3Rs on the grid, or 911 GT3Rs, and yeah, I think you can't rule out Porsche either. You know, they have a strong package. It's going to be great to see what they can do. But yeah, I think Lamborghini's looked pretty strong so far. I believe qualifying the Huracan GT3Rs were looking very strong. And Ferrari, Ferrari's taken a lot of wins in motorsport, as we know. Of course, they took the 24 Hours of Nürburgring overall victory with Fricadelli Racing in 2023. And that 296 GT3 lasted the whole race, was very consistent. And it's possible that the car can be consistent here at the 24 Hours of Spa as well. So we'll definitely see how that works out. But I wouldn't count out Ferrari either. But yeah, there's a lot to look forward to in this event. And I know that I probably will be ending the stream soon, but I want to mention another factor as well. For viewers, this is something that kind of gets overlooked quite a bit. And I want to mention this here on stream. The way you're supposed to watch this race, and the best place to do this, is going to be on YouTube. The organizers do a brilliant job of broadcasting this. It's going to be on the GT World channel. I'll link it in the description down below after I finish this live stream. So you can go check out that channel. You can go subscribe to it so you can watch the 24 Hours of Spa live. Definitely a channel to subscribe to just in general, though, just because they have a lot of content on that channel. So definitely go subscribe there. Of course, I will unfortunately not be able to make any live 24 Hours of Spa reactions or streams. I won't be able to stream the race. If I did, I would get copyrighted, which of course I don't want. I want to make sure that this channel is just fine. We don't want any copyright here, and I want to respect all the organizers. We did it with the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Of course, no copyright there, and I don't want to go into any of the video part of it. I didn't do any of that, which is good. But yeah, that was a success, and I hope to be doing that with the bigger endurance races like Le Mans and Daytona in the future, and only getting better on that, of course. But yeah, the best place to watch the 24 Hours of Spa is going to be on the GT World YouTube channel. Like I said before, I will link it in the description down below, so you can go watch it. I believe the race is going to start at 4:30 p.m. local time, and that will be on Saturday, June 29th. And as of recording, that's tomorrow. So that'll be great. Going to be a lot of racing to catch up on. And after the 24 Hours of Spa, I'll try and do like a race review or something like that on the event. It's been really hard to get out content because there's so much to do. And yeah, there's a lot. You know, we have a video coming out later today on the Acura news. I'm trying to get out a 6 hours of a 6 hours of the Glen race review as well, which should be coming out tomorrow on Saturday. And then 24 hours of Spa is next. And then viewers, we also have two big endurance races, not this next weekend, but the weekend after. That's going to be the WEC and IMSA going back to back with races. It's a little bit different though, compared to the previous events that have clashed before. And what I mean by that is that the WEC, I think, is going to be the headline of this this whole week, or that whole week of endurance racing action, because they are returning to Brazil, a track they haven't been to since, I believe, 2014. So yeah, Interlagos. This is the same track that the Brazilian Grand Prix in F1 is hosted on, and it will definitely be an event to look forward to. 6 hours of Sao Paulo, that's the event, round 5 of the season. And then IMSA's race is going to be up in Canada at Mosport, the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. But that event is very different to the 6 hours of Sao Paulo and other IMSA events in general, because for the very first time this season, and for, I believe this is one of 2 times this happening this season, the GTP cars will not be present. Now, this is a very big factor that a lot of people are kind of upset with, just because GTP cars were great at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park last year, but IMSA has chosen not to put that, and that's okay. But yeah, we have the LMP2 cars taking the headline category, going for the overall victory at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. I believe it's going to be the 2 GTD classes at that event, and then I believe that we're also going to have the LMP2 class, of course. And the LMP3 cars won't be there. Of course, they were there last year, but they are not in the WeatherTech Championship anymore, so they will not be competing in that event. But yeah, GTP cars will be back in early August, so we'll have about a month break from the prototypes of LMDH, which is a little unfortunate, of course, but that's okay. We still have IMSA action. We still have action in the WEC when it comes to these wonderful LMDH cars, wonderful LMH cars as well. We get a little break, but yeah, IMSA will be returning the GTP class at Road America. So a lot of action to come our way, of course, for endurance racing. Of course, the 24 hours of Spa is this weekend. That's the big event. It's going to be a lot to look forward to when it comes to endurance racing. Another Belgian endurance race. Of course, the last one we had that was a big endurance race, I believe, was the 6 hours of Spa in the WEC, and ELMS will also be returning to Spa as well, so that will be great to see. We'll definitely see how that all works out. But yeah, we have a lot of racing at Spa, and I believe F1 is also going to be returning to Belgium in a few weeks' time after, or just before their summer break, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll definitely be exciting as well. A lot of racing at Spa-Francorchamps. So if you're in the area and looking to go to Spa, now's the time. There's a lot of racing going on for sure. Alrighty, so any more questions, feel free to send them down in the comments below when it comes to endurance racing, when it comes to the channel. If you really just have any questions, just let me know down in the comments below. Other than that, I think that completes everything that I had on the 24 hours of Spa preview. There was not much more I could really say. Otherwise, it's going to be a great event. I predicted that the number 46 BMW will win. I want to see Rossi achieve a big result. And it hasn't really been a good season for the BMW M4 GT3, and specifically the 46 car in WEC. The 31 has found more success. I think the biggest achievement for BMW in general in the WEC this season has been at Imola, when of course they took the win in LMGT3, I believe a 1-2 as well, with the 46 car in second. And in Hypercar, it was the number 20 car that took 4th or 5th, I want to say, maybe 6th. I think it might have been 6th. But yeah, big result for BMW overall in Imola. But other than that, it's been a very difficult season for BMW in the Hypercar and LMGT3 categories in general. I think the 31 cars found a little success, but the other 3 entries have had a difficult time out there. It's been a difficult race for for the other 3 Team WRT BMWs. So hopefully Rossi, Martin, and Raffaele Marciello achieve a good result with the 46 here car at the 24 hours of Spa. So we'll definitely see how that goes. Porsche, as I said, a strong contender for the race win here at this event. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do with their multiple entries out on track. Ferrari is a candidate for overall victory as well. I think they have a very strong car, as the same goes for Lamborghini as well. And I wouldn't count out the British marques as well. You have McLaren, you have Aston Martin as well. 2 cars that have proven to be very competitive in endurance racing. That is the 720S GT3 Evo and the Vantage GT3 Evo. So 2 cars that definitely could be competitive here at the 24 hours of Spa. And honestly, I'm just going to say this again. I really want to see the Ford Mustang do well. You know, this is the car that just made its debut in endurance racing. It's going to be making its debut here at the 24 hours of Spa. And yeah, it's going to be great. We'll see what all these manufacturers can do. We'll see what all these teams can do. And we'll see what all these drivers can do. It's going to be an epic race with really anybody could win, which is great to see. With the increase in number of manufacturers in the WEC, will they increase the number of entries in a season? Great question. Oh, by 2026. Okay. I think so. I believe so. For next season in 2025, the WEC is expected to extend the entries to 40. I believe there's a max of 37 for the full season, excluding Le Mans, of course. But yeah, I think they're going to expand to 40, and they really have to, because we have a lot of entries that want to come in. You know, you have, let's quickly run through some of them while we have the time. Aston Martin have 2 more entries on the grid. Isotta Fraschini want another entry, and they will likely get it with Lamborghini and Cadillac as well. Then you also have the potential return of Vanwall, who are aiming for a 2025 return. I don't know if it's going to be happening, and I want to make a video on this as well, because Vanwall was a manufacturer or a team that we haven't really heard from since they were rejected from the WEC 2024 entry list in November of last year. But there's been hints. I've been in contact with a few people, and I won't name names just to do all that sort of thing, but Vanwall could be returning in the near future. Of course, there was the confirmation that they would switch engines from Gibson to Pipo Motors. And yeah, I think they were going to change a few things on the Van der Waals 680. However, there is not enough space, I don't think. And I think Vanwall need to prove to the WEC that they are ready to go back. They're ready to go racing, and they have a competitive car that can take on the field. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Of course, as a fan of more brands, I want to see Vanwall back in the WEC. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And then when it comes to LMGT3, I know one manufacturer that wants to get in, and that is Mercedes. Mercedes with the AMG GT3, they were looking to join with the into the WEC's 2024 season. There wasn't enough space. It just didn't really work out. And if I think there was more space, there would be a possibility of Mercedes entering in, whether that be with a team from IMSA, a team from another series. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And then there's also rumors of more manufacturers entering hypercar. Right now, there are 2 brands that are very, very close to announcing plans. Huge rumors going on when it comes to that. And these 2 brands are McLaren and Hyundai. Hyundai looking to potentially enter with Genesis. And I want to make a video on that one as well. As same goes for McLaren as well. I think it would be worth a little chat to discuss the possibility of Hyundai joining with an LMDH. A lot of talking points. There's a few videos online as well. And for those that maybe are wondering why haven't I put out a Hyundai confirmation video or anything like that, there's 2 reasons. One of which is that there hasn't been a huge amount of information recently when it comes down to Hyundai. Now there kind of is. And the other factor is that I haven't really had enough time to really sit down and do this correct. I don't want to do a video on a manufacturer like Hyundai joining unless I really do my research, unless I really sit down and go, okay, here are the facts, here are the talking points I can discuss. I'm not going to go into this kind of unknowing and give information that could potentially be not real. You know, I don't want to spread misinformation or anything like that. So, yeah, I want to make sure I do this correct. and that's why I'm taking my time with it. So with Hyundai, I definitely want to see them join. I think there's a possibility that they could be the next big announcement, potentially announcing a project in the next few months, which is absolutely incredible. There's a heavy rumor from, I believe, Sports Car 365 that Hyundai could potentially be partnering with Chip Ganassi Racing, which would make sense in general. Chip Ganassi Racing wants to stay in IMSA, according to some sources. However, there isn't a lot of options to them. You know, you have, of course, Cadillac they're parting ways with. The only brand that I could see them potentially partnering with would be Acura. But Acura already has confirmed that there will be 2 entries on the grid, one from Meyershank Racing, one from Honda Racing Corporation, or in conjunction, you know. But yeah, I think this is going to be interesting to see what happens with Hyundai. And then McLaren as well, if they potentially join, you know, with these regulations extending till 2029 at least, this opens the door for manufacturers like McLaren and Hyundai to potentially branch into this. There has been rumors of other brands joining, one of which was Alfa Romeo. Unfortunately, there hasn't been a lot of rumors on that, and I don't think it's going to be happening, to be honest. I just don't see it possible, at least in the next couple of years. If the regulations extend to the future, we'll see how it goes. Another comment saying, have you heard the rumors of Hyundai LMDH? They are rumored to be choosing between a Dallara and a Oreca chassis. Yes, that's true. Dallara or Oreca seems to be the 2 chassis that Hyundai could potentially pick. But yeah, this is looking really good for the next manufacturer to join. If Hyundai were to join, they would be the 14th manufacturer to commit to these regulations, after Aston Martin, of course. And yeah, it would be great to see them join. I really want to see them enter the hypercar class, enter IMSA. We need a brand from South Korea, and I think that this is a manufacturer that has the ability to do this. You know, Hyundai has a lot of resources. They have Genesis, they have Kia, and I think that we need a Korean manufacturer in the top class, and this is a great way of doing this. So yeah, I think this is definitely possible for IMSA, definitely possible for Le Mans, and it sounds like Hyundai are interested in joining as well. But yeah, I think that pretty much concludes things, viewers. I can't really think of anything else to discuss when it comes to the 24 hours of Spa. That pretty much concludes the preview for this event. We are maxing out on the time as well for the live stream. So yeah, there's more to say, of course, but that's more for the race review. Enjoy the race. It's going to be live on the GT World Challenge GT World channel. I'll put a link to that in the description down below. A lot to discuss, that I discussed, I guess, in this video, when it comes to the 24 hours of Spa. It's gonna be great, you know, to watch this race. I can't wait to watch all the action. Absolutely incredible for sure. But yeah, oh, and one more thing I wanted to mention as well is that the 24 Hours of Spa is a part of 2 championships. That's the Fanatec GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS, and then also the Intercontinental GT Challenge. So 2 championships that this is a part of in 2024. And if you haven't watched any other races from those events, those series, highly recommend checking out those two series. You know, the GT World Challenge is absolutely phenomenal racing. I want to do some content on it later on. Of course, we are doing this event, which is part of the championship, but branching into other things would be nice as well. But right now, viewers, we have a video going on YouTube right now, live. You can switch over to that one right now if you'd like. It is YWT, or the explanation of WTR Andretti leaving Acura, Meyershank Racing jumping in to IMSA for 2025, making their return for the first time since 2023. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate all the support as always. We will be back for more content, more live streams, of course. The content, of course, will be coming out daily for the next couple of days. And then we'll start to settle down. But yeah, right now there's a premiere on the YouTube channel. Definitely check out the next video. And yeah, again, thank you so much for joining, and I will see you all in the next one when we discuss more.